comes to digital versus physical, where do I stand on that? I actually prefer digital products to the physical products in this day and age. I would much rather have comic book NFTs than actual comic books. There are exceptions, but for the most part, my life is pretty much moved to digital life. I have a digital life. I'm trying to minimalize my physical life. I'm trying to get rid of a lot of stuff. I'm trying to downsize big time. And having the digital collectibles, digital comics, the NFTs on VeVe, subscribe to Marvel Unlimited. I can read any Marvel comic I want at any time I want. There's few exceptions here and there sprinkled without, but I haven't run into any issues of it not having what I was trying to find yet. You gotta wait 3 months for the new comics. There's plenty of stuff to read. And if you're like me, where you're just somebody that reads comics anyway, that's one of the plus sides though. With physical comics, they're bagged, they're boarded. You gotta worry about the condition if you break them out to read them. I hate, and I have always hated buying comics from eBay. You don't know what condition they're gonna show up in. You can believe the pictures, you can believe all that. Something can happen in shipping. They could have misrepresented the pictures. There's been many times that you get comics from someplace like eBay, and it's just, with the NFTs and the digital products, you know what condition you're getting as soon as you buy it. And having the mint numbers, it kind of gives your issue an identity. It's got a number to it. Just space alone. You've seen how much space 10, 15, 20 long boxes takes up? You have a closet in your house, just like a standard size closet. Yeah, 10, 15 long boxes will pretty much fill that closet up. It's a lot of space. And you get into collecting, you're buying every issue because you can't miss an issue. You can't have that gap. You know how many long boxes that eventually fills up after years of doing that. Again, with digital, you can keep up with them. You can read as they come out. You can go back and reread the back issues, and it fits in your pocket. And have you ever tried to move with 10, 15 long boxes? I've heard stories about dealers in the late 90s, early 2000s that would go to conventions and just leave the boxes behind that they didn't sell. It was less of a loss for them to leave those boxes of comics behind than it would have been to ship them back. The cost investment, and I'm not talking about just buying the item. You buy a comic, you're either going to buy it at a premium because it's graded, so you're paying for it by buying it graded, or you got to buy it raw. You have to send it in and get it graded. Hope it gets the grade you wanted. It can take 5-6 months to get your comic back from CGC when you send it in to get it graded. So you finally find this item you want. Now you send it in to get graded. You got to wait another half a year before you see it again, and it's more money out of your pocket. And if you're buying multiples, it adds up. It's $25 a book to get it graded. 20 books, you're already at $500 just for grading. That's not even for buying the books. That's not buying the collectibles. That's just after buying the collectibles. And having the digital collectibles, you can actually show your collection off to people. A physical collection, you have to bring them to your space. You have to walk them through it. You know what I mean? You're not carrying your physical collection around with you to show people. With a digital collection, you can pull out your phone. Hey, look at this I just got. Well, the first things I actually collected before I started collecting comics, I collected music. I'd buy rare tapes and CDs from bands I really liked, like underground bands. You'd have to go to like specialty stores to buy these imports because they were not released in the United States. They'd come out in Europe, Japan, and you have to go to these specialty stores that would have them. And so I collected rare music. With the advent of the MP3 player, I didn't care anymore. Now I had all of it on something I could carry around in my pocket, and I could easily find anything I wanted at that point. To me, it was about the music and getting the music, collecting that music. It wasn't the item, it wasn't the CD, it wasn't the tape, it was the music. You give me another way to collect that music, and yeah, I'm down. And I know a lot of the bands I listened to got a resurgence and actually got popularity for the first time because of music pirating. Because their music was finally available to everybody and people start hearing it. A lot of the Norwegian black metal. If you knew where to look, you could find it, but the average person wasn't ever going to find one of those CDs. I went to college to become an audio engineer. I learned how to record on reel-to-reel tape. Most of my training. Very little training was done on digital recording. You haven't recorded on tape since I graduated. I graduated in like 2000. They weren't recording on tape then. I don't know why we were even learning. I think our instructors were just stuck in the past thinking tape is never going anywhere. And that's the mentality I've seen through a lot of my life, is people think, this is the way it's done. It's not going anywhere. 10 years later, that industry does not exist. One of the first places I ever worked, I was a manager at a video store. There's no fucking video stores left anymore. Maybe a couple here and there, but you know what I mean. Technology changes, and I don't know, it seems to make my life easier. It makes the things I like to do easier. Makes it easier to read these comics that I've always wanted to read, but I've never been able to afford. Now I can get on Marvel Unlimited and read them. And hey, if VeVe puts out the NFT, I'm gonna buy it. But I'm not going back out and spending thousands of dollars on a comic book again. That may be on a physical comic book. I won't do it anymore. There's some I'm going to buy that means something to me, and I'm going to spend the money and get them graded. But these aren't $1,000 comic books I'm talking about. These are just comic books that mean something to me, and some of them are hardly worth anything, but they mean something to me. That's where I'm at with collecting. It makes it so it's fun again. You go for the things you want, the things you're like, oh yeah, man, that's cool. I want that. That death statue. I like that death statue. I haven't bought it, but I like that death statue on VeVe. Big fan of that death statue. But it's no longer, I have to buy 52 DC comics every month to make sure I'm getting every issue they're putting out so I don't miss something. Oh, and they've got 3 variant covers I got to get this month too. I can read the stories. Doesn't matter if I miss a key issue. I can just sit back, read the stories as they come out, buy and collect the things I actually want instead of feeling like I'm buying and like I have to buy everything. You know what I mean? That's the mentality you can get trapped in as a collector, especially in the comic book world, where you have to get everything they're putting out because everything's tying together and you can't miss a single issue. You know, that shit wears people down. And a lot of the cynicism that exists in the collector community right now is because of that. Now it's more, I can grab the comics I dig on VeVe. I can be like, oh, cool, I like that one, I'm gonna get that one. I don't feel like I have to buy everything. So that's another plus to digital. I can read everything, but I only have to buy the things I actually want and enjoy. I don't have to keep all these filler issues that I bought just in case something happened. Or I was following the story and I liked where the story was going. So that's why I prefer digital. I did say I have a list of comics I'm looking for. I'm gonna build like a little comic wall of graded comics. Of comics that have meant something to me through my years of collecting that I have just never attained. And they aren't expensive comics, like I said. There's one that is pretty much a grail that I don't know if I'll even be able to find, but it's on my list. I don't know if if one will ever even go for sale at any time. I don't even know. There's almost no copies of it in existence, so. It's the same with all collectibles though. I'd rather the Funko Pops. I had so many Funko Pops, but I've been selling and I'm currently selling most of my Funko Pops. Like I said, I am trying to reduce what I have. I think my mind shifted about the past year where I really don't value the physical items anymore. I don't want them. Unless it's something truly rare or something that means something to me, I don't want it. That's pretty much where I stand on collectibles right now, is I prefer digital collectibles. I prefer the NFTs. I prefer the digital lifestyle. My whole lifestyle is becoming a digital lifestyle. And I don't see that slowing, and I don't see myself regressing back to a lifestyle of needing the physical items.